What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ultra Anime, and I'm here bringing you with a new what if on what if Issei had mahorage adaptation abilities. If you guys actually like my content, please subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's start this story. The what if will begin with Issei on a date with Yuma, or aka Rainer. Everything would actually play out quite similar into the anime, to where actually Rainer would actually confess and she would actually kind of kill Issei. But this is where something strange would happen. After Rainer left, a wheel would appear on Issei's head and it would start to spin, healing his wounds, and also the life spear that was actually impaled inside of him. It would start to adapt to it. Not completely, but it would adapt. But Issei will fall unconscious, Reyes will come, she will see that Issei summoned her, but she saw that Issei was fine. But she sensed actually the power within him, so Reyes would actually reincarnate Issei into a devil. The next time, Issei would have actually another encounter with a fallen angel. This time would be Dunseek. And the same thing would happen in the anime. Dunseek would shoot a life spear at Issei, but Issei actually chakra downward wheel would start to spin. It will start to adapt to the life spear. Issei became actually quite immune to it, but not fully yet. But it would actually disappear. He was about to actually end Issei, but original Reyes and the rest would actually save him. Here on out, the story wouldn't really change that much, up until Issei has his third encounter with Rainer at the church. And this is where Issei will be impaled with a life spear on his legs. This is where actually Issei chakra dominant will would appear and it will start to adapt to the life spear. Issei became truly immune to light attacks and his wound also healed up. Rainer saw this and she was really scared. What was going on? What was he? But Issei would let out a giant roar. This will frighten Rainer. She would try to escape, but Issei would catch up and actually hit her out the window. And the rest would play quite similar. Reyes would actually kinda like eliminate Rainer and everything will go back to normal. And they will also revive Arthur that into a devil. The story would have actually continued all the way up to actually the 10 days training. And this is where actually we see Issei's actually potential on display. Issei during the 10 days was growing fast, like really quickly here. At first, Issei was actually weak and all of them could easily take on Issei and easily defeat him. But as the day is going by, Issei is adapting to everything that they're teaching him. Kiba teaching him how to use a sword, Akano trying to teach him magic, and etc, etc. But they're seeing that Issei is getting stronger at a rapid pace. But Issei would spend most of his time with actually Konoko. During the 10 days, Issei and Konoko will grow closer and closer. Not really in a relationship, but in the meaning of comrades. She actually realized Issei's potential, and Issei was getting stronger. Issei was a brawler, just like Konoko, so the two of them would actually match quite well. But Konoko realized that as she's fighting, Issei's somewhat actually catching up to her strength. Like she doesn't know what is the reason behind of it, but every single second she will need to increase actually the power. And every time Issei will get actually more stronger and stronger. It actually quite terrified her, but Issei will be more of actually use in the battle. After 10 days of training, the raiding game would actually begin between Reyes Grimry and Verizon Phoenix. Now not really much really happens here. Issei and Konoko would face off against the pawn and the rook from in the gym, and Issei would actually also join actually Kiba on the battlefield, and also very soon joining actually Reyes. Not really actually much really happens here. It's just that Issei starts adapting to most of actually the mahorage members of the opposite actually team. Issei actually gets actually immune to actually pretty much actually attacks such as hits, also slashes, and also not really actually much fire here. But Issei actually does get hit with some fire attacks, but he doesn't get actually like immune to it here. With this, Konoko gets knocked out, also Kiba, and after that will be Akano. Leaving actually the three people left will be Issei, Reyes, and Arthur. So once Issei makes it on the roof, this is where things would actually change. Arriving on the roof, everything will play quite similar. But this is when actually once Issei actually powers down, and actually got injured from actually using too much power, this is where Issei's chakra dominant will actually start to spin, and Issei's actually injuries would actually disappear. Raiza would actually go ahead and attack Issei over and over again. But as he's actually attacking him, Issei is actually adapting to Raiza's strikes. Every one of Raiza's punch, Issei is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Raiza sees this and he's really actually confused. How come his attacks is not properly working on him? About 8 minutes will pass. Raiza would actually land a clean blow on Issei's face. But Issei didn't move, not even for a second. Raiza actually got shocked. What are you? What's wrong with you? How come you're not going down? Issei will look at Raiza before delivering a clean punch. This punch would send Raiza flying backwards and also destroying actually parts of the building. This is where Issei would actually start attacking him, and Issei would actually use Dragon Shot. Issei would actually get stronger and stronger, and also his attack becomes actually more deadly. Raiza was actually losing ground. He was actually losing to a low class. This is where actually Raiza Queen would jump in, and she will also start using Explosion on Issei. But Issei starts adapting, and also he becomes immune from it. So Raiza Queen becomes actually useless. Issei and Reyes would take her out. The same with actually Raiza. And this is actually where Reyes would actually win the rating game. So Reyes was really happy and they actually kind of celebrated, putting the end to a Raiza, to the Raiza arc. With this, we will have actually some changes to the story. Since actually Issei didn't face up against Raiza a second time, Reyes doesn't really move in with Issei. She develops a crush, but she doesn't move in. But I would say actually Konako does develop a great actual relationship between Issei. She doesn't move in, but actually she waits outside of Issei's house at 5 AM so they can begin their training. So with this, the two of them would actually train all the way up to actually the Exorcist coming to the town. And the story would actually play a lot similar here, all the way up to actually where Kokubel revealed himself, and also trying to actually destroy this actually town. And this is where actually the group would actually follow Kokubel to actually the school. As actually Kokubel was actually there, he was waiting for the Devil Kings to show up so he can have actually a battle with them. Sona and her Parage will put up a barrier, but Reyes and her Parage will go in to face off against Kokubel. But as Kokubel actually is waiting, he will see Reyes at the group. He will get annoyed, but heck, he will summon actually his 3 dogs, while actually Issei and Kodako will take care of the dogs. Reyes and actually Akano will take on Kokubel. And Issei, at this point, his level of power is on the same level as his Balance Breaker uncompleted. That's Issei's base power alone. But Issei and Konako is able to take out the 3 dogs, and also take out actually Freed and Vampaleed, leaving only actually Kokubel. Kokubel would actually have a little bit of trouble with the group, but he managed to take them all out. Well, besides from one, Issei. Issei would get back up, and he was charged directly towards Kokubel. Kokubel will fire some actually light attacks, but Issei, he's not actually immune by it. Kokubel was actually surprised. There's no way a devil was actually immune to actually holy magic. It's not possible. How is that? This is where actually the two of them would get into a clash battle with fists, but Issei actually starts adapting to Kokubel's attacks. It's actually shown as actually Kokubel is having a hard time, and he actually sees that Issei's regeneration is far greater than that of a phoenix, and the two of them would actually be clashing for a while. Issei will be adapting as Kokubel will be struggling. This is where actually Issei would adapt to Kokubel's attacks 8 times, becoming immune to all of Kokubel's strikes. Kokubel would get actually annoyed. He can't actually defeat Issei. There's something off with him. He's growing in battle. He's growing really strong. He's actually grown to be on his level actually. This is where Kokubel will fly up into the sky. If he can't defeat Issei, he's just going to destroy this whole town. But before he even gets a chance to do that, the White One will come, breaking the barrier and knocking actually out Kokubel. He will take Kokubel and pretty much actually flying away, leaving actually an end to the whole Kokubel arc. After this, we would actually have filler, but like the filler would actually stay the same. So Novia will join the group. We'll have the pool episode. We'll have the Gasper arc. We'll also have parents at the conference, but things would actually change once we get into the peace treaty arc. Majorly, everything will play quite similar for the first part. The Chaos Brigade will come, Issei and Reyes would save Gasper and Konako, Azazel would take out Katrin, and Volley would take out the mage. Up until Volley would actually challenge Issei and betrays the group. Volley would say the same thing to Issei, original in the anime, but Issei doesn't really get a power up, he doesn't really get a boost from this here. And he can tell actually Volley is pretty much just lying. And Issei's actually base form is on the level on his actually incomplete balance breaker. So he can face him right now, but Dreg said it would be better if he faced him in his actually balance breaker, with actually his armor. And he can do that by making a sacrifice, by sacrificing his actually human eyes to get actually dragon ones. So that's what Issei would actually do. He would sacrifice his human eyes to get actually his balance breaker. And the two of them would have a clash of the century. Every blow that the two actually took, the whole battlefield was actually shaken. And also, Volley can tell, Issei is growing stronger, stronger and stronger. He actually starts actually using Divine Dividing, but he soon realized that his Divine Dividing is getting less effective to use on Issei. It seems like Issei is actually like adapting in mid-battle, and he's realized this is how Kokubil lost. Issei has the power to actually adapt to actually people in battle at a fast pace. So Issei will break actually Volley's actually armor, stealing his power. This way Issei will start to use Divine Dividing, and it causes massive stress on Issei's body. But Issei will use actually his adaptation ability to actually adapt, and also he starts using it again, this time with little harm to his body. Volley was actually shocked. There's no way. First he takes his power, now he's actually using it actually on him. There's no way. This can't be. This simply cannot be. This is where he would use half dimension to push Issei back. Issei would get blown back by Volley's attack, but Volley got a good enough distance between the two of them. He would start actually chanting to go into his Juggernaut drive, but as he's about to finish, Biku will break the barrier and take Volley away. This is where we will put actually an end to the Peace Treaty arc, and we will actually have actually the girls moving in with Issei, and also we will start actually the 3-month training for actually the group. Here on out, the story would actually quite play similar up to the 3-month training. This is actually where the group will be on the train, they will actually get teleported down below, face off against Tani. They will actually end up losing, but Issei ends up being the superior one among the whole group since he has Mahoraga's adaptation abilities. This is where actually they will get actually a quick soak in the pool and also meet and raise family, and also the next day Issei will actually get taken by Tani to begin his training. During the 3-month training, Tani would actually put Issei through the same exercise from that of the anime. But Issei starts adapting to Tani's training really quickly. Tani will actually try to help Issei master his balance breaker, but on this actually 2nd month of training, Issei will get approached by none other than Saruorg. Saruorg heard rumors about Issei, how he defeated Raiza, how he defeated the Cosmo Fallen Angel Kokubil, so he wanted to test out this boy's power. He would throw a punch, but Issei managed to counter, and he would punch Saruorg in the chest, sending him flying backwards. And he was surprised. At low class, was actually dealing damage to him? It was actually surprising. He never actually expected him to be this strong. Saruorg would actually apologize, and he just saying that he wanted to test Issei out before leaving. After this, we would actually have the Peace Treaty arc, but I'm just gonna skip over this because everything would play quite similar. Issei would face off against Kuroka and Biku, and also Loki would come, but they end up actually subduing Loki here, and the same team would actually go ahead to try to steal Loki away, but this is where actually things would take an unexpected turn here. During the battle with Loki, Issei finds it hard to actually adapt to Loki's power. Reason because Loki is a god, and Issei is having trouble adapting to actually a god's technique. It actually takes 20 spins for Issei to fully adapt to Loki's power, to where Issei becomes immune to Loki's attacks, and he's far more stronger than Loki. Fenrir would actually bite Issei, but Issei managed to heal up, and he used actually the hammer to steal actually Loki away, putting an end to the whole Loki fiasco. After this, we would actually have the Dear Odora arc, but this is where everything would play really easy for the group. I mean, Dear Odora would actually kidnap Asya, and the group would actually try to save Asya, but everything would actually play the same from the anime up until when Issei loses control. Once Issei finished his Juggernaut Drive chant, he would pretty much actually attack Shellbot, but Issei is not really having actually trouble with Shellbot at all. Not like he had trouble with him in the anime, just that Shellbot is like child's play to Issei. Like, he's just pretty much like a mouse to Issei's eyes. And Issei is easily just destroying Shellbot left and right. And he's easily adapting to all of actually the powers that Shellbot is releasing onto Issei. And he's pretty much actually just one-shot it away. Not really killing him, but pretty much actually just leaving him in just a near-death state. This is where actually the group would try to play the Oompa Dragon song, but it doesn't work this time. Issei is far stronger, and the song doesn't really work. They were thinking of actually sending Reyes to calm him down, but that was not going to work. You see, Reyes is not really that close to Issei in the anime. I mean, the only person close to Issei is actually Konoko, but they're even thinking that that might not even work. So Issei will be left to actually destroy the whole place, up until actually the faction leaders would actually jump in. Sir Zex, Azazel, Michael, and Odin would join the fight in stopping Issei. But as they're facing off against Issei, like actually his past opponent, Issei will just start adapting to actually their power. And they realize this, so they actually kind of just thought that they have to knock Issei out right now. They will actually charge up the most powerful attacks and they will launch towards Issei. But Issei would use Long Giant Smasher, as Volley would show up just at exactly the right time, absorbing actually the attack, while actually the faction leaders actually attack landed on Issei directly head on. As Issei got hit with actually that attack, it completely knocks him out of his Juggernaut Drive armor, leaving him actually unconscious. But once he actually woke up, they explain to him what really happened and Issei thanks the group. And Issei doesn't fall unconscious here, since his healing factor is really strong, he doesn't actually collapse. Which brings us to actually the next arc, the Kyoto arc. And I'm not really gonna go over this because this is really boring. I mean, Issei just starts adapting to the hero faction's like sacred gears. Like, it's not even funny. I mean, Issei will come there, the group is just more than enough to actually take on actually the hero faction. He managed to save actually Yasuka, so there's not really much to go along with this actually arc. But Sun Wukong does actually offer training for Issei since he finds him quite interesting. After this, we will have actually the Cyber Orc actually fight, and I'm not really gonna explain myself. It happens like the last arc. It becomes easy to Issei. Issei's base form is on the same level as his full power balance breaker. I mean, Issei will have his potential unlocked, but there's no need for it here. Issei would actually have his Crimson Cogno promotion possibly even mastered, and even if he did use it, it would be overkill. Since actually, if Issei's base form is actually on the full power balance breaker, just imagine his Crimson Cogno promotion. I'm pretty sure that's actually overkill. Now, for my Ultra fans, you guys are probably wondering who's actually the main girl in this entire story. And let me just say, it's actually Konoko. Konoko is actually the main girl for actually Issei. Yeah, I know, normally it should be Reyes, but it's actually Konoko. Reason because actually the two of them started off as a master and teacher, as soon it grown to that to be that of a good actually loving relationship here. Now, the second actually part would be actually kind of like Reyes, third, Akano, and etc, etc. But sadly, this is where I had to put an end to the what if here. I mean, I can go into the light novel, but people would rather wait for actually a season 5, but like, I'm just telling you this, there's no season 5. But like, this really pushed an end to the what if. I mean, like, if I continue any further, I mean, Issei is just gonna get more broken and broken as the thing goes on. I mean, like, it's not even funny at this point. Issei with Maharaga's adaptation abilities is actually kind of crazy. Plus, with his actually boosted gear, he can actually boost his powers to actually almost unlimited amount of time, while also adapting to his opponent and also to the boosted gear. Yeah, that's kind of broken. If you guys pretty much actually like this, share this with actually with your friend. And if you guys actually want to see more of this, please actually subscribe. My name is Ultra Anime. I'm logging out. Peace.